San Francisco is known as a city filled with diversity, culture, and progressive ideas. The Board of Supervisors are the representatives in charge of reflecting our ever-changing city and the people within it. But it wasn't always this way. Women struggled to have one of their own on the board until 1921, when Mary Margaret Morgan became the first female supervisor. It wouldn't be until 32 years later that the next woman, Clarissa McMahon, served on the Board of Supervisors. Since then, women have continued to make significant contributions to the Board of Supervisors. So, who are these women, and what impact have they made with their time on the board?
To be honest, it came as a surprise for me when I became a supervisor. I was actually working in the mayor's budget office at the time as a deputy director. And at that time in the city, there was some challenges with the then supervisor, and Mayor Gavin Newsom at the time removed that supervisor from office. And so I was asked to serve in that role. It was a very quick transition, not something that I had planned at all. But I got into public service because I really believe that government is a place where you can create opportunities and level the playing field.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
I was on the Board of Supervisors from 2001 to 2011. I had been involved in working in my community. There was scheduled to be a redevelopment area plan. And as African Americans, we knew what that meant. It's usually a removal of certain kinds of people. And so because of the past, there had to be a committee formed of all the people that lived in that community. Everybody had to be involved in this committee. And then there were certain rules and regulations, and we had to go around and get neighbors to vote for us. And so we did that. I did that, and I won a seat on that committee, and that kind of started everything.
Supervisor Christensen present.
I think certainly having women on the Board of Supervisors and in legislative bodies all around the country has meant that some of the issues that have been traditionally called family issues are now raised.
I think that San Francisco and the rest of the country here, frankly, is very behind. And I think that, many mothers, they don't have a choice about whether they get to return to work or not.
Having individuals who are women in all of these places helps to create, I think, a more rich dialogue around what policy choices actually mean and what the impact to people, families, their lives would be. And so I think having women on the board here in the city has been impactful in that way.
Supervisor Kim present.
Democracy is about representation. How can you leave off over half the population? A lot of women are not just taking care of children, they're taking care of parents and working. And so all of those life experiences are part now of our policies, of our city policies, and throughout the country.
Supervisor Breed.
Here.
Breed present. Supervisor Maxwell. Maxwell present.
We certainly saw two of San Francisco's only female mayors having originated originally from the Board of Supervisors as well. And so I think it's a place where people experience and get exposure and are seen as leaders and have the ability to influence policy in a way that helps to propel them also to leadership positions. And I think it's important to see ourselves in that.
Supervisor Cohen present.
Doris Ward was one of those people. She championed rent control. Willie B. Kennedy championed set-aside contracts for Black women, women of color, and small businesses. Ella Hutch she was really, really very special. She's one who really motivated me. She worked for the ILWU, which is Longshoremen's Union. She was a switchboard operator and a secretary. And then she founded an organization, co-founded with someone called Congress of Racial Equity, CORE. And so the lens she came in with was one of equity. It was about women. It was about young people. It was about seniors. It was about at-risk youth having jobs. It was about more police guidance. So those three women, to me, left their legacy.
Supervisor Alioto Pierre present.
When you think about the lasting results of any legislator and women legislators, I think sometimes the tendency is to try to find like a otherwise women issue that wouldn't otherwise be covered. But in fact, so many of our legislators, women included, have touched on every single facet of policies. It's important to be seen in people who represent you through your life experiences, how you identify. And for young girls, I think having women on the board is important because you get to see that. You actually see yourself in that seat of power, making decisions for things that impact your life.
That concludes business for today.
There was one where the fellas at the time, they were arguing, and I'm sitting there. I was the only woman and the only African American. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my goodness. And there's a room full of people because it's a board day. And I'm sitting there thinking, what can I say? What can I say to stop this? And so the universe gave me the words, gentlemen, let us be about the people's business. And of course, all the people start clapping. And they have to do what? They have to act like gentlemen. But that one, for me, showed the importance of having women, having the importance of having African Americans and an African American woman.
To the women of the board past, present, and future, thank you for your strength, grace, and commitment to changing San Francisco for the better. Let's continue to make history.